So we asked Hussein Hamdani from the Islamic perspective if Islam has any standards of diet and exercise that Muslims would have to adhere to. Here's what he has to say.
It does. The Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, and the Holy Book, the Quran, are very, very clear on some things. I mean, Muslims are, for example, forbidden to eat pig, pork, any animal that is a carnivore that eats other animals are all forbidden. Alcohol is forbidden. And a lot of this has to do with dietary and mental integrity. So your physical body's integrity and your mental state. We're very clear on having your body as keeping it in good shape, keeping it exercised now. And not all Muslims follow that advice, but it is extremely important.
To concur, it is extremely important. All right, so if you're just joining us, again, Robert Kish is our guest, naturopath and phytotherapist, and you can reach him at www.longetics.com, and the phone number will get up on the screen there for you as well. All right, and I understand again they will send out a free pH test kit, so you can find out where your pH is and if it needs to be adjusted or not. Okay. All right. Let's go to, is it Gwyneth from Ontario? Hi, Gwyneth. Gwyneth. Thanks for waiting, Gwyneth. You're on the air with Robert Kish. All right, then we'll move on to Colleen from Saskatchewan. Hi, Colleen. Colleen. Well, you know, this isn't going as well as I had hoped with the phone thing, you know. Let's try Frank from Ontario.
Hello?
Your phone's working, Frank. You paid your bill. I'm glad. Okay, Frank, go ahead.
I was just wondering, is there anything that can help macular degeneration?
Macular degeneration.
Yeah, that's aging of the retina.
That's a pretty tough one. I don't know if it's something like that. I mean, obviously, a pH in itself wasn't going to fix that problem, I wouldn't think.
Well, again, in every condition, we must think pH.
Okay, so you want to get that balanced first.
That's got to be balanced first, okay? From there is supplements that we use, like Eyebright Complex. That's probably one of the things that I would do, Frank, is to go to something like Eyebright Complex, something to support the eye. Other than that, it's a process that's been going on for quite a while, so it's another thing that going back to making sure that you're choosing the right foods, putting the right things into your system, making sure that pH and the choices.
I mean, is that a condition you've ever seen improve with help or no?
It's a very difficult one, really, to work with, and I think that even with the doctors, it's very difficult for them to get that back under track or on track again. It's where the macula, where the little disc at the back of the eye, the macula itself is starting to come. It's like an inflammation starts to swell out, and then the distortion happens there.
Well, Frank, you know, again, that is always good advice anyhow to get your pH in balance, and then the suggestion being perhaps to, you know, under guidance of a proper, you know, naturopath or a medical doctor to try some Eyebright and those kind of supplements that will help the eye.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay. All right, Frank, where are we going? To Shelley from Alberta. Hi, Shelley.
Hi. I was just wondering, I have a child that is vaccine damaged.
Sorry?
She's vaccine damaged.
Vaccine damaged, okay.
Yeah, she had when she had her shots, she had developed a severe epilepsy.
Oh, okay.
And I was wondering if there's any kind of antidote, or if this too can affect, like her pH balance, if that could affect her seizure disorder.
Right. How long ago did that happen?
This happened, she's 13 now. It happened when she was 4 months, on the day actually of her shot.
So she still has epilepsy now?
Yes, she does.
Okay. All right.
Again, we do have a program that it takes about a year. You have to start on specific days of every month. You do the program for 10 days, but there is a program that we have for removing heavy metals for vaccinations.
Okay, so you're saying there's heavy metals that have been there perhaps through vaccination.
We believe that that's the case.
Okay, and you actually remove those over a period of a year. And
it takes about a year.
Can that actually relieve somebody of something like epilepsy, you think?
Well, these are, again, some of the things that may be causing the system to be out of whack or out of balance, you have to try and look at what is the system asking for first.
So you're not saying that's a guarantee, but you're saying that
There's programs that we can work with.
Okay.
If
Have you ever seen anybody get free of epilepsy from, or no?
Again, if we go back to some of the things with epilepsy, go back to bowel function. Bowel function is a big factor in this to make sure the bowels are functioning, because all of your organs, again, are related to the bowels and detoxifying, cleansing, yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to say. Epilepsy, we've had people with seizures that we have put on a program. A lady that came to us, she was having as many as 7 to 8 seizures per day. My wife took her in for a weekend, for 4 days, put her on a program, detoxified the bowels by way of enema, cleansing the system, and in the 4 days she only had, I think it was 4 seizures instead of 7 a day.
So drastically reduced. So there is help available.
Yeah.
Not
And we've got
necessarily the cure, but it's certainly a better life anyhow.
Yeah, we've got programs for that too.
Okay, all right, Shelley, hope that helps. I know you have an interesting story. Maybe you can very briefly share that before we get to the next call. Lynn from Nova Scotia, you're next here. You talked about it was a baby story with a pharmacist.
We had a 2-month-old baby come to us that his name is Samuel. As a matter of fact, we're looking for prayers across the country for this little guy.
For Samuel, okay.
For Samuel, because Samuel, the medical doctors didn't think he was going to make it. He was on oxygen from the first day that he was born. He came to me at 2 months of age, and instead of working on the baby, I worked on the mother because the mother was breastfeeding. We did find out that the hypothalamus, the pituitary pineal gland in the testing with clinical kinesiology wasn't working. We did give him some drops to do that. Within 2 weeks, he was off of his oxygen.
So you treated the child and the mother?
The mother first by finding out what the mother's weaknesses and deficiencies were, and based on that, what she needed.
You got the child off of oxygen.
We were able to, and whether it was ours part, we just say thank you, Lord, for it happening, because it's a big thing.
And he still needs prayer, you're saying, for some
No, yeah,
further
we want
improvement,
prayer for this, but yeah, we want this little guy. He hasn't got enough strength basically to even suckle, so he's force-fed, and I haven't had a chance to talk for the last couple of weeks, but I think that
so this is something fairly recent then. Okay, you're still working on that. All right, let's go to Lynn from Nova Scotia. Hi, Lynn. Lynn from Nova Scotia, go ahead. Okay, I think maybe people are hanging up because they're thinking we're running out of time, and they're right. We are running out of time. We're almost done here, but let's try Josh from Quebec. Hi, Josh.
Oh, hi.
Josh,
I just wanted to let you guys know that I changed my diet drastically from last year, from actually being very good to maybe quite being bad, because I eliminated a lot of maybe toxins from my body because of all the meats that I eliminated, and I decided I would eat more veggies and fruits like you said earlier in the show. But my question is, you know, as a young guy in Quebec, and you see young people, and what are the effects of alcohol on your body and pH? Do you have any
yeah, good question. Sure.
answers about that?
Yeah. Whether a person, Josh, chooses alcohol or chocolates, to us there is no difference. Okay, they're both the same. Okay, so by again trying to get the system back on track where the craving of these sugars, okay, you eliminate them by supporting the pancreas. Support the pancreas to deal with these issues.
You're saying you get rid of the craving for chocolates, or you get rid of the craving for alcohol
by helping the pancreas.
By balancing the pancreas. So that seems like an odd response, but you're saying it works.
Yeah, sugar.
Very interesting. Takes away the desire to be, you know, I guess, stuffing your face with these things. But the alcohol, how does it affect your pH?
Oh, it'll alter it a lot. The sugar will do the same. It's the sugar that's going to make your pH go to the wrong.
So the sugar in the alcohol, or the sugar in the chocolates, will actually make it more
it'll
acidic?
change it. That's right. And then you're going to have a harder time utilizing your oxygenation at the cellular level.
So and then that'll actually make your body not function properly, won't be able to access the oxygen properly and utilize it.
Yeah, so.
Interesting. Hope that answers the question, Josh. Okay. Fascinating stuff. How much time do we have left here? We're just, all right, let's, you know what? All right, real quick, let's go to Susan from Alberta. Susan, go ahead. Susan, you'll have to make it real brief. Yeah, Susan, you'll have to make it brief, okay?
Okay, I just would like your guest's feeling about lutein.
Gluten?
Yes.
Gluten or glutane?
Gluten.
Gluten, you
Not
mean?
gluten,
Okay, gluten. All right.
lutein.
Okay.
Susan? Susan, again, if you have a sensitivity to gluten, again, we got to find out when can we desensitize her to gluten. We go back to desensitizing if the person has got a problem with saliva, sensitivity to saliva, sensitivity to the blood, change that part of the system, get the proper items going into the system, and work that route.
So balance the body, and then you have the equipment to actually desensitize somebody like Susan to that, and then they can actually start eating gluten products again.
Carefully, without going overboard.
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
But
Again,
your life would change that way dramatically for the better.
That's right,
All right,
yeah.
Susan, thanks for that. You know what? Let's leave people with this. I know you talked about keeping track of food types, you know, and that is key, isn't it? You talk about the pH, and people should actually write down. You're saying if you're sensitive to a certain food type, you say when you eat it, you'll be able to tell within minutes if your body's responding negatively to it, your heart starts to race.
Exactly, yeah. And what we do is if you want to find out if you've got any sensitivities to any foods at all, let's say if you've got a plate in front of you, there's 5 items in your plate, take your pulse before you eat the food. Let's say rest for 5 minutes in a sitting position. Eat the food, take your pulse 20 minutes after eating your food. If your heart rate goes, let's say, from 65 from when you first started up by 10 points, let's say to 75, something in that plate is an issue. From there, you can start to use the elimination process.
Very interesting.
Okay.
We've got just a few seconds left. Any final thoughts, Robert?
Oh, I just say, Lord, for those that need help, and we just ask the Lord to guide them for whatever help that they need, wherever they may find it, and if they need to call us, whatever they can do.
Well, there's the number up on the screen, the website, the email there
It's
as
all
well.
in his hands.
Robert, appreciate your very unique and broad look at all the different angles here. Thanks for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for all your calls as well.
Okay.
By all means, give the number a call and see if there's help available for you. Here's what you had to say on your insight.
The government gives you the right to have sex at 14, yet they think that you should have parental consent to have an abortion. Why don't they make up their mind? They should either say, no, you can't have sex at 14 because you need parental consent to have the abortion. In my personal opinion, because I've had a personal experience with it, that my daughter had consensual sex at the age of 14 with an older man. Thank goodness she did not have a pregnancy with it. But if she had, I would not have allowed her to have an abortion. And if she'd had to have parental consent, I wouldn't have given her consent.
Okay, always appreciate your comments, and if you couldn't get through, leave us your thoughts. We'll try to play them back on upcoming programs on Your Insight. On the next Insight, we'll be showing a rebroadcast, actually, because they have some special tapings happening this week. So my apologies for that. The rest of the week will actually be rebroadcasts before we come back live on Monday. This will be featuring Steve Wohlberg tomorrow. Of course, he's authored a book called End Times Delusions, and there's sure a lot of different views of how this will all unravel. And check it out tomorrow.